Thank you so much for that question. First of all, sorry, I want to differentiate this here. The heart of cellular agriculture is not actually digital agriculture, yeah, but if it's infused, with other technologies, digital, then it turns to digital agriculture. And whether it's sustainable, in fact, in my podcast, this is one of the things that we discuss: soilless agriculture and greenhouse farming. I'm sure you are familiar with that. And what we the conclusion we reached was that the cost of establishing soilless farming and greenhouse farming is actually more than going to embarking on open field cultivation, right? For let's say you are establishing on a plot of land a greenhouse structure. For input, you are going to spend 6 million naira first, right? And one of the reasons why we have the reason cost of that input is because virtually all inputs that we used to construct, greenhouse are being imported, right? And we've seen the disparities in the foreign exchange rate and the imports they charge with, moving in goods. So for that to actually work, we need to encourage local production of the materials, for the soilless agriculture and greenhouse farming. So, and another thing is that what we have seen is that you are producing costly, and someone that is producing open field, at the end of the day, you'll be selling to the same market, right? So you are being cut short in that way, and we have this sort of, people are really hungry, the purchasing power and disposable income is down, right? They don't want to listen to whether, you produce it organically, this, that. No, they are hungry. The first security is food and shelter, right? So that's what they are after. And back to your other question, talking about, agri-tech, the fund, and I'm going to shock you with this, that even while we've seen up to $1 billion for agri-tech funding in Africa, and Nigeria receiving one of the highest, it's just about 2% of global agri-tech venture capital fund, right? It's one of the, in fact, it's the lowest in the world. We are lagging behind Middle East and Latin America, the first country in the Western world, rather, the US, the UK, China, and all that. They are leading that space. So one of the problems that we are also having with our funding is that when the fund comes in, it doesn't really encourage this kind of it's not really geared towards the solution that you need in domestically, right? You are not able to have your own say, right? So it's one of the issues that we are having with agricultural funding in Africa. Is still funded in this kind of poverty alleviation scheme, right? But agriculture is not poverty alleviation scheme. Agriculture is a business, and it's a very big business. So it's why it's very important that we have this revolving door for funds locally, right? We are able to source funds locally, and we push things. We don't have to be dependent on donations, right? The country is very rich actually. I always say that we don't have a revenue problem, we have a spending problem. I hope I'm able to address your question. And I want to suggest this. I've been thinking of it when I was in 400 level, we did our PYTP. We needed this sort of mental transformation, although we did course on entrepreneurship in the department. It's one of the reasons why I'm able to do what I'm doing today, because I'm able to approach agriculture as agribusiness rather than just core primary production, right? So I would suggest that if students from the extension department can actually be made, to do PYTP related to extension. We have a lot of firms that can, a lot of agricultural firms, because it's so to expand your mind. I can understand the mental barrier, your position, right? If you are just used to tilling the land, you are not being exposed to what can actually be in the field, then there's this sort of limitation, right? So if it's something that can be a part of, I would be very happy to do that. But meanwhile, I would advise that, like Professor Janice has mentioned, there are a whole lot of significant discussion that are taking place that people are not really paying attention to. That once you start listening to them, it starts transforming your mind. You have to be open to all this. You have to be open to information, open to discussion, attend summit, attend seminar. If I ask you today, do you have a personal project of yourself, like a personal history of your project that you've undertaken, the volunteer that you've done, the self-project that you've done, and all that position you out there? I think one of the things that we have to start incorporating is how to position ourselves out there. Even if you are seeking formal employment, it doesn't just come straight like that. There are a lot of jobs that are already taken that are not being advertised. So I'm going to give you an example. When I was in Reading, I already knew what I wanted to do, communication. I wanted to do communication in agriculture. So I saw a lady at the end of my master's study. I started researching on some of the firms that I can reach out to. So I saw a lady doing something related to agricultural media. Meanwhile, she's from food, and she's a food technologist, by the way, right? So, but I was able to message her and explain what my project was about and how it relates with what she's doing and how I feel that I can fit into an organization and enables the achievement of our mission, right? So she read this and she was really happy. When I came back to Nigeria, she invited me to VI, right? And I started in 2019, started working for her. So it's based on that knowledge that I was able to, start up something for myself. So you have to learn the art of positioning, and also you have to also learn, to take some sacrifices. Because when I was doing that job, the pay wasn't really that great, but I understood and I knew what I wanted and what I was going to achieve over time. Yeah, so you have to start looking at places where you can volunteer, acquire skills, position yourself. It's just position, honestly. Position, even the act of, CV. When you look at the CV writing, it's one of the reasons why many people don't get, when they submit their CV, they don't get a response. See, CV is actually a marketing tool. It's not just a application tool, right? It's how you are able to position yourself. And once the employer sees it, you just read the first line, and it's like, no, this is the person that we want in this organization, right? So I'm going to stop on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, yes, maybe I should say one or two things with respect to allowing students have their practical year in their areas of study. I think during the tenure of Professor A.A. Ladele of this department, as the Dean of the faculty, students in the respective departments were posted to institutions relevant to their courses of study. We had that. Unfortunately, it was not sustained by the person that succeeded him, and over time it's as if it has been eroded. And recently there was this project from NITDA. How many of you participated in that project? 500 level students. Only one person. 2. Okay, so some of you participated, and I assumed you had some practical experience with respect to livestock production, especially poultry. Yes or no?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Are you there?
Yes,
We have a secondary school. And in the morning, when I say good morning and I don't hear anything.
And there's no chorus.
So I'm extending that. Hello, students. Hello. Better, thank you. You're there.
So you had some practical experience. The idea is that NITDA will intervene, equipment will be made available, and after that first year, universities on their own will continue with the project. But unfortunately, the project has been turned into a business venture that hardly involves students. But we hope things will be better. We adjusted the curriculum such that students will have practical exposure at 200 level, 3 months, 300 level, 3 months, and then they have 6 months in the practical year. Unfortunately, those that are executing it, from the feedback I have from students, the best students are having is just slash and bomb. Is it not so? But the thing is, there are programs in place to assist you. But most of the time, the executors will determine what is made of that program. But we hope that things will continue to improve. We are pushing the faculty to ensure that whatever plans we have should be taken through to execution, so that we do not just have good ideas on paper that will not be executed. Unfortunately, those in the current practical year, is as if their practical exposure is close to zero, which is very bad. We have had it better than this, and we hope it will improve, but it's not improving. But we believe we will not keep quiet and we will get there. Those of you in 100, 200, 300, we believe by the time you get to your practical year, things will take better shape. And like he has said, cultivate the habit of volunteering. Don't wait till you graduate. Someone is there wanting to employ you. The person is interested in what exposure have you had. You may not have been employed anywhere, but if you think someone is doing something related to what you love to do, volunteer. No one has a company and we see a student want to volunteer and say, I don't want you. At least it's not paying. It's a free service, and in the process you are benefiting, and it may be a leap for you in life. Like he has said, just have the experience. You may not even have to seek for any job. It may be a leap that you require. There are so many opportunities that you can explore. We are in an age in which farming is not in tune. It is about agribusiness. And agribusiness is about the entire value chain. So many people are making it from that chain, and you should not be left out, especially as change agents. Thank you very much.